All right. Good morning. Fuck you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the AM show, hosted live on the AlphaMint Discord. I am your host, as always, R2DGen, and I am joined with me by Free Market Capitalist.
Never sell your NFTs.
Free Market is coming off a big win. He got a huge Twitter follow last night from none other than Tropo Farmer.
Yes, and that's the only win I'm gonna have to take as an XCopy. I never owned that, which is fair. Sold for $6.6 million. I originally got into NFTs as a
Oh my
fan
god.
of I don't own any XCopies. We can leave it at that. But wow, Cozomo de Medici, which I have inside information. It's not Snoop Dogg. There has been a lot of evidence posted online that Cozomo probably isn't, but for now the pseudonymy remains, and supposedly Snoop Dogg paid $6.6 million for what is largely considered the magnum opus for XCopy, which is right-click save. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a beautiful piece. There are some XCopies I like more. That stuff comes down to preference. But we also talk about that a lot in respects to rarity, right? No one cares necessarily. They're all one of ones, right? This is going to be about what's aesthetic and what people like. So knowing which XCopy would be the magnum opus was certainly profitable to someone. I know the punk who sold it. I don't know him personally. In other words, I him on Twitter. He sold it for $455 a couple of years ago to the person who sold it for 6.6 million.
So I am laughing hysterically inside because just before the show started, you were like, "I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to mention it. Don't mention XCopy to me. I'm having a hard morning." And I was just in the middle of doing the intro, and you're like, "Fine, XCopy got sold. That is it is like it just went into a tangent." So I guess we're
Band-Aid off.
yeah, we're talking we're covered that portion of the show. Yes, right click save guy got sold yes by Cozomo 1600 ETH, a cool $6.6 million. Probably nothing, but yeah, that is he was teasing something was coming last night and dropped the bomb in the evening yesterday. So huge sale and even like Tropo Farmer did say, this is the best piece of crypto art in existence. Obviously, that's a little subjective, as you mentioned, but
I think there are more visually stunning pieces from XCopy, but does this not define a movement? The most famous artist, the name of it is right clicks defines the first 3 years of NFTs. No, I mean I can see it as a defining piece of this era for sure.
well, I right click saved it, and now I have a $6.6 million JPEG too.
Your
Oh God. Okay, well, let's finish the introduction then. So yeah, you had a good follow from Tropo yesterday, but how was your day otherwise? What was going on?
Oh, nothing. A pretty great day. It was a relatively busy. There were like two or three cooks yesterday.
Yeah, a couple things going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been like so swamped with in real life degen very effectively over the last couple weeks, but man, I am hoping to make up for that on Friday. I think we know what's coming. That's Little Lemon Friends, but we could talk about that another time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, yeah, some interesting things happening yesterday. A couple of good cooks, a couple of projects minted out, and one pretty big pivot that we might have touched on in previous shows. So we'll definitely get into that later on in the show. Right now, quickly going over the cryptocurrency market, we see not a lot happening. Bitcoin hovering around 50,000 again, Ethereum hovering around 4,400, and the market is kind of just moving sideways in a pretty tight range. So again, as I talked about, and obviously this is subjective, but the further away that we get from that dip, the better off I feel about our kind of new support levels and where we're going. So I think that seems to be a pretty good sign. Ethereum looks like it's one of the bigger coins that have rebounded really well over that period.
I think the big story in markets is the ratio. It's what at least the traders that I trust seem to be excited about right now. It's what they're watching. This isn't bearish for Bitcoin, but I do think Ethereum is on this next leg, whenever the leg starts, and then maybe we even get another scary dip before then. I'm not at all long-term bearish, so I think that the ratio is going to make new all-time highs, and that's one of the more exciting things happening on the crypto side here.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to give you a heads up. Your mic is cutting out a little bit as you're talking there, not for super long periods of time, but not sure if maybe a setting just needs to be flipped. But yeah, going into that, something surprising that didn't really move the markets, although, in hindsight, I thought it might have. Some news coming out that crypto CEOs went to Congress and got a warm welcome. Members of Congress adopted a positive tone towards crypto executives who appeared before a committee hearing. In the past, when this has happened, it is very focused around money laundering, funding of terrorism, black markets, crime this, crime that, tax evasion this, tax evasion that. It's been all bearish. And I think to everybody, including crypto Twitter's surprise, these CEOs showed up. And Congress was more than happy to entertain discussions with them in a positive light. A lot of questions about how it can be used to change the world. What can Web3 bring to the United States? A little bit surprising, and normally it doesn't go this way. And then a complete polar opposite, like. On the same spectrum, there is news that UK politicians tell regulator Bitcoin is not an investment. UK seems to have gone the complete opposite way and said, these we shouldn't be using these words. These aren't investments. It's not punctual, or it's not prudent to compare these to a top company or anything like that. Which, I mean, obviously the comparison is different. It's not a company. But yeah, UK feeling pretty bearish while the United States is flipped bullish. Did you you were following this? I know you touched on it a little bit.
This doesn't surprise me. England is very similar to the NFL. They put out a good product, but they're the no fun league for a reason, right? They have very strict laws on cannabis, and they can censor the internet and the news, which is like kind.
Yeah, sorry, dude, you're cutting out again.
I am?
Yeah.
Here, talk for a second. Let me try to reset this.
Yeah, no problem. We will resume his free markets thoughts on the crypto meeting in Congress. But yeah, looking at the WGMI, we'll just quickly go on there. Is nothing too crazy going on. Apes Kid Club is just continuing to run, so it's still sitting above a 1 ETH floor. Yesterday, some really big changes were Unigrids, which I'm not familiar with. Crypto Dad's actually seeing a little bit of a light of day. So back up to a 0.25 floor. That was a AlphaMint cook that everybody was in on. This was seemingly years ago, but just a mere months ago. Crypto Dads has been kind of killing it over the last day and 7 days. So maybe that's something we're going to look out for in light of like a Coinbase announcement. If that's already come out or not. Pudgy Penguin's having a really good day too, up from a 1 ETH floor to a 1.25 floor. How'd you make out with your microphone?
I don't know. How do I sound?
Yeah, you'll sound good. Just launch back into your talk about the Congress meeting, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So the response was, I think, a stark contrast to what most people expected with Congress, as they tend to posture very hawkish on crypto in public, but man, were their questions very poignant and practically supportive of the entire industry. I think even the CEOs like Sam being interviewed were surprised, and man, did crypto Twitter also react in shock. There was some pretty funny
yeah, man, I'm
AM show chat, but yeah, he needs to have somebody check his clothes before he goes in there. But it was incredibly supportive. In fact, one politician even made up a coin on the spot he called Mongoose Coin. And within 3 hours, the coin was launched on Binance and was up 1,000% last time I checked. And
I want nothing more than to be able to listen to
Class-
these guys talk in real time about Cumrocket and Shibcoin.
well, I don't, people were saying, oh, yeah, all these senators have heavy bags. Well, I don't know if it was them, but certainly their interns do, because like I said, these were some pretty fabulous questions. They even invented a meme coin on the spot, which may have made a few people some good money. And boy, was crypto Twitter having fun with it. And man, is that I mean, every few weeks we hammer. When is it coming down? Boy, this quells those fears quite a bit.
Yeah, I wonder if that was one of the CIA coins that were coming into play.
That was it. That was it. That's funny. I mean, of course, it launched on Binance. I just want to say, that. But it went up 100x. Dark Illidan, 10,000% Mongoose Coin went up. Classic crypto. How good are these stories, man? It's never gonna get old.
Yeah. No, it's hilarious, but it is great to see that these things are actually being discussed properly. Some of those conversations in Congress and from politicians in the past have been like just honestly painful. Like it is it's always very frustrating to hear the people that are the leaders of the most powerful country in the world talk about things in such an uneducated fashion, right? Like you would really hope that when they're making laws and regulations and rules surrounding these things, this would be something that they would take the time and have people around that would educate them properly. And I know that's why Coinbase was kind of calling for a whole separate regulatory body to do this stuff because, the traditional finance markets are so nuanced and have their own rules and regulations that, it's a handful just for them to keep on it. And, why stretch even thinner for a whole new asset class that, frankly has different procedures, functions, and whatnot, right? Like this is a full new thing. So this made me happy to see that was coming about, and and I did have a bit of a chuckle with the UK going the complete opposite. It seems like within in the same 24 hours. So yeah.
I think this is really indicative of the phase that we're in, where it was like, will this be adopted, to, okay, this is being adopted. How is it going to be adopted? I think we are firmly in the, okay, crypto works. It's a thing. It's coming. Now we just have to figure out how.
Yeah, I got to admit, though, I'm surprised it didn't move the markets at all. Maybe that's not something that would. I know that it's not actually passing any regulation or not, but like...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. These really do tend to be theater.
Yeah.
We see these Congress hearings all the time, and it's a chance for junior senators and House members to kind of get up there and make a name for themselves. So it largely is theater and posturing, but like we said, it was about as good a governmental hearing for crypto as we've ever seen.
A little bit of a different news moving into the NFT space. Something that was hinted at yesterday and has been confirmed today. Pepsi is moving into NFTs. They are dropping a collection. They've announced it on their Twitter page. So essentially, if you have any interest in it all, this hasn't dropped yet, go to Twitter, follow them. They're literally just at Pepsi, and turn notifications on. They are dropping 1,893 NFTs, which is the year that Pepsi was founded. And it's going to be a free drop. You just got to pay gas. And they are doing a waitlist thing. The waitlist is opening tomorrow. And the mint will be on the 14th of December. And you won't know if you made it on there until you go to the micdrop.pepsi.com page. And connect your wallet, and if you made it, there will be a mint button there for you. Kind of cool that they're doing it this way. The Budweiser drop was a little bit of a shit show.
Shit
The
show. Yeah, well, people paid $10 for those, and they're sitting at a .5 floor right now.
Well, a great investment, but the search function, like you had to buy them individually. You had to choose which ones you wanted to buy. Like the search function on there wasn't working very well. Like, everyone was just scouring for it. You also had to be an American citizen, which was a little frustrating because I did find a couple that I could have bought, and they basically blocked me at the border. But yeah, this is Pepsi definitely falls in line with the highly recognizable brands of the United States. Very Americana. Budweiser is definitely in there too, and the NFL, as we saw with the Ticketmaster drop, which was another questionable thing. A great cook for anybody that actually ended up getting paid by them, but there was a whole bunch of confusion there. But Pepsi seems to be going about things a little bit differently. So I know that I'm definitely going to be trying to make it on their wait list, and I will be watching for that notification quickly. What do you think?
I think we've talked about these quite a few times. One of my big trends for next year and a cool 2022 predictions show, but sneak peek, one of my big trends for next year are mass adoption by corporations, right? And I love these plays. None of these corporations want to bang you. Most of these are free or under $100. They're very, very appealing to the mainstream. The mainstream doesn't understand NFTs yet. They don't get it. Something from a brand they recognize that's cheap or free is going to be how most people get into this, right? As an example, on Thanksgiving Day, Macy's, and I guess some people had known about this before, but Macy's announced download for free a limited edition Macy's NFT, and there were 10,000 of them, which to us in the trading world is a high supply. But when you think that there were probably 5 to 10 million people watching that broadcast, and a few 100,000 probably tried to get that NFT and couldn't. How much are they going to be worth next year when Macy's does 100,000 edition? And I think anytime you see these things, and Budweiser is a great example, and now Pepsi coming up, you run towards it as fast as you can. We tend to have an easy shot at these things as we're slightly more sophisticated than the public that these are targeting. So while the launches are not smooth and the UIs are not optimized for those of us that do this every day, you have a pretty good shot at getting these things. And I mean, NFL all day from Top Shot is a good example coming up. And just like R2, I'm going to be on that Pepsi wait list, hoping I can snag one as well.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at them, they look like a microphone that has some generative features to it, different backgrounds, some headphones, sunglasses, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, could be pretty cool. I don't know if I'm rocking this as my profile picture, but like, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, they actually looked pretty cool. As I think Hologram had one for a little bit on there, but there was nothing wrong with it.
All these companies tend to go mainstream. I always think that's kind of funny because I like to picture the consultant that comes in and pitches them this stuff. It's like, yeah, it's NFT, it's tech. You got to go 3D and blah, 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 blah. But, I think they all look great. Like Coca-Cola did a very limited edition jacket NFT last year that looked fabulous. And I actually think all of these companies have been executing very well. I didn't love the NFL cards that recently came out, the Panini ones, but I am looking forward to the Top Shot ones, even though NBA Top Shot still suffers through a pretty bad bear market right now.
Yeah, this was also just dropped by GaryVee last night. He was the one that hinted at it, and I expect his VaynerMedia to be on the forefront of like onboarding these large companies. He definitely seemed to be using a lot of like smaller projects and getting them off the ground in terms of like minting and hype as kind of maybe a springboard to show these larger companies that like, hey, people are rabid for this. You just need to market it properly. And he seems to be kind of spearheading that initiative, at least with Pepsi. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him be doing this pretty frequently, if I'm being honest with you.
And it actually gives me hope for Pepsi's UI if Vayner is advising them. At least he knows NFTs, right?
Yeah, he's got his finger on the pulse of like what people want and what people need. Again, polarizing individual, whether or not you like him or you buy into his brand. But if there's one thing you can say about him is he does understand what the people want.
Yes.
So yeah, good for them. Let's talk about Syn City, as if anybody hasn't been talking about Syn City for the past 60 hours now.
Touchy subject, my friend. Touchy.
They I don't know if it's specific to AlphaMint or if it's the whole market. It seems to be on Twitter, but it seems like they're losing people. They stealth launched the second wave of their pass, the riddles to get their pass. It seemed like it was difficult but solvable, and the further that it has gone on and the more kind of in-depth things that are happening, like just hidden hints and the stuff that the team is dropping on Twitter, the more that you uncovered, the further away you felt like there's a lot of misleading things going on, and it's hard to see how it all ties back together. But I think people are getting really frustrated because, now we are in our basically third day of people nonstop working on this. And, it just feels like everybody's stuck in the mud. There's no hope for solving this. And the other thing is, too, if you don't solve this, you are walking away with nothing. And certainly those 200 passes are going to get minted out quickly. So now people are feeling the effects of this time rugging, as people have been calling it.
I am pretty angry at this whole situation, and not the least of which is new breaking news that came out last night, which I think a lot of people went, oh yeah, now I do recognize that, is that this game, quote unquote, is an old iOS app that has been reskinned for crypto. Now, the art always looked a little 2005 to me, like what the hell is going on here? I guess iPhone wasn't even out then, but it always looked a little dated to me. And now we find out that this big anticipated game, a bunch of big investors and VCs are going in, is just some reskinned iOS app with terrible art. Next Neo Tokyo, yeah, I doubt it at this point. And I think really the danger is that this time sink now are the price of these passes going to drop where this is what it feels like at this point.
Yeah, the passes, they're still at about a 0.4 floor. They're not selling a lot. There's, a couple of them a day are moving. But I have to believe that once this thing gets solved, people are just going to want to wash their hands of it and take their free money, and then the undercutting starts. There's 200 of them on the market already, and now
I heard it was going down.
You heard what?
I said, what's the floor at? Because I heard the floor was going down already too. Didn't they? They stealth drop some, right?
The floor seems to be at 4 still, not moving overly fast.
I thought it was going down. Yeah.
There appears to be a reward at the end of this if you can sell it into any kind of volume. But yeah, I think at this point, with the way that the devs on Twitter have kind of been trolling and dangling stuff out in front of people that don't seem to have a whole lot of substance, there's a lot of frustration about, what is even the syntax that you're supposed to be putting into the fields, because there's 3 answer fields and you don't have questions to those answers, right? Like, you think you know what's coming up, or you think you know what's supposed to happen, but there's people that are frustrated that, do I have to capitalize the city? Is it, is it case sensitive?
I would say that's the toughest. That's honestly one of the toughest angles. I think it's
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm losing you again.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. For the devs to come out and be like, should we turn the case sensitivity off on this? And then everyone's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Is it on or is it not? Can you at least just give us some guidance? I didn't wake up and jump back in. My brain really kind of latches onto these puzzles, and next thing I'll know, I'll be staring at a logo for 8 hours straight, being like, this is it. And I don't know. It's just, the reward is obviously there. I'm not gonna, scoff at, $16,000 US if you could sell these things, but it is starting to feel like the devs are you know, burning the goodwill. People seem to kind of be turning on them a little bit. So, you know,
Yep.
you have to respect people's time. You have to respect the fact that there's probably at this point thousands of people who have been, pulling all nighters, and as the memes have gone, their wives are leaving them and whatnot. Like, but you have to be delicate with that, and I don't know. All signs are pointing to this not ending well, but I've been wrong.
Yeah, I mean, sunk costs, we talk about that a lot. It's the same thing with time. Once you invest a certain amount of time or money, you feel you got to get towards the end almost no matter what. So.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, we'll certainly discuss it once this gets solved and we see what happens. And I know that there's people that are going to still work on it. The voice chat in AM seems to be slowly dwindling, and as people kind of just throw their hands up. But you never know. Eventually, they might just drop a hint that kind of makes the whole thing unravel, and then everyone's going to ape back in, of course. So I was just looking forward to playing 5 minutes of Tetris.
I see. I mean, there were some elements here that are very exciting. I like. I I love the riddle. I love this, like, and then you gotta play 5 minutes, and if you screw up, you're toasted forever. Like, this is all fun stuff. But it's been executed poorly. At least it seems that way. We of course don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, like I was taking a break from looking at this stuff just so that I could practice Tetris every once in a while. And like if it's the standard Tetris game, man, like
I
five
love
minutes
it.
is a piece of cake, no problem. I know
Yeah,
I'm
so
not the only one either. Like just to, help me out
watch it.
here. Throw it in the
Watch
AM
it.
show chat. You were playing Tetris too. I know it.
Expert. I mean, remember expert mode though. Who knows what level they drop you in? It could
Oh,
be
that's
them
cool.
coming down like rain. Who knows?
Oh God, no, no,
Uh,
not worth it. Well, I mean, good luck to anybody that's still participating in it, and if the ball starts rolling, hopefully AM lands on the winning side of it. A couple drops happened yesterday. Some cool stuff going on. DuskBreakers that was shared a bunch of times in AlphaMint
this
is
is a drop.
dropped. Yeah, 0.06 ETH mint. They've got a game, kind of an entire universe going on. Definitely quite a roadmap that you're looking down to. There's going to be 10,000 of them. It doesn't seem like they're all minted right now as they wait for the last of the whitelists to mint. It looks like 9,300 of them going on right now. But yeah, they have been on quite a run right now. Looking at OpenSea, it seems they're about 0.25, 0.26 floor. Even as recently as a few hours ago, getting up to 0.33. So not a bad little cook if you were looking to flip that. And there seems to be some momentum behind this project. 700 ETH traded so far. And looking at their website, not bad art. Like it's a little bit generic, but it's pretty clean. It's got a good level of detail, but it's not over detailed. Like I could see these being in profile pictures. I could see some nice rarity traits going on with them.
If you didn't tell me what you were talking about, I would have said it's Bored Apes. So, of course, a collection like that can work.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of insight on it other than it's AlphaMint Moon Loungers have definitely been partaking in this, and some have been buying off the secondary. I know some of you minted, and it's looking like it's shaping up to be all right. So if it can hold its steam after the reveal. Oh, also Icon. Oh, co-founder of Twitch is on this project as well. Is that right? On
Yes.
DuskBreakers. Okay, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, and I was thrown off too because the other person that was a co-founder of Twitch, which is Justin Kahn, was part of Syn City as well. So I guess
Gamers, it's funny. There's a mutiny in gamer world about P2E. I'm not
yeah.
I'm not I'm not in that world and I don't know much, but it seems that there's a group of them breaking off and coming to crypto, and then there are the purists who are like, no, that's not what this is about. Like, it's an interesting little civil war brewing there, and I do think the smarter, more technologically forward people are coming into crypto now. We are seeing some amazing, amazing projects in the works that are coming up here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been very vocally bullish on gaming in crypto, and I know that you feel the same way. At least as a mainstay in terms of the niches that are arriving.
And I'm not a gamer in a traditional sense, so I can come at it from an outside perspective. I feel like I just see the stickiness and opportunity here for these two worlds to meld. It seems that we've known about in-game currencies for I don't know how long. This seems inevitable. It makes sense to me. So.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of mints that happened yesterday, did you see the dongs?
I love these. You got the dunks in the morning and the dongs in the afternoon. That could be a song.
Sounds like no, stop, enough.
Okay.
Yeah, dongs dropped yesterday. That is Doodle Kongs. There was 1,000 of them. Yeah. Another thing that I know a bunch of alpha minters got into, but they're doing a-okay right now. A lot of volume on the activity page, 132 ETH so far, and they're sitting at 0.25 floor right now, but they are actively trading above that, looking at some 0.3 sales, a 0.59 here. I don't know how much of a chance you got to look at them. I have some mixed feelings, though, because I do think that the Doodles art does translate well to a lot of other... What's that?
No, I was going to say the minute we declared that this doodle art style works for everything, it jumped the shark. And for those of you not from America, jump the shark is a TV term meaning that your show has lost its luster, that it's beyond its prime, so to say. And this seems to be a case of that right here.
Yeah, another quote from the 1930s brought to you by FMC. But yeah, it's not... Okay, so I'm going to say this. It's not that it's lost its luster per se. I think that this could have been done well. I just think that in this instance, this one was not. And I'm not trying to flood anyone's bags. I know a lot of people bought them, and they're trading well. So I mean, my opinion doesn't hold a lot of weight. So don't worry too much about that. But I was looking at them, and I saw a couple of things that like kind of bothered me when I was actually looking at the art, and maybe this is just me being a nit, but a lot of their traits don't really line up well. Like if you watch this, the recording of this on YouTube, I am going through it. But there's like the little like rainbow vomit mouth that's coming out, which one is a pretty kind of shitty gradient, but it also doesn't line up with the mouth, so you can see the trait of the mouth underneath it that's just kind of like making these like random lines stick out of it. You can see the outline of some of the eyes underneath the glasses and stuff that they're putting on it, and it's making it look very awkward and very unpolished to me. And I don't know how much I'm supposed to expect out of a derivative, but some of the derivatives have been done really well. And I think it's unfortunate that this one could have fallen under that category, but it was just pumped out, I guess.
I don't care how good a song is. If you listen to it too much, it becomes annoying. And Doodles is a great song.
I think that was just the mic drop on this conversation. Yeah, no, I mean, it like I said, it is doing well. There's only 1,000 of them, so the supply is incredibly low. And with those, if they decide to rip, they will rip. But it'll be interesting to see how many of these derivatives can actually take place before they get a little bit old.
I think Doodles is a timeless style, and these things wax and wane, but it just feels a little done to me in the short term, and that's just my personal preference. Everyone do as you will.
Actually, speaking of derivatives and the Doodles, no, honestly, did you see that yesterday a Moon Lounge member sold their one of one soda?
Whoa, for 7 and I mean soda, which was one of the more anticipated ape/doodle derivatives. I mean, it had a really nice cook after launch, and they look great. I mean, we've talked about how much we love the doodles art style and how most of the derivatives nail it. The sodas look great, and we had a Moon Lounge member sell his 1 of 1 yesterday for 7 ETH. My goodness, what a sale! I mean, in a collection, what's the floor on that thing?
It is sub 0.1, so that is a big purchase. I'm looking at it right there, but yeah, big purchase, and they're regularly trading for about 0.07. So for someone to come in and pay about 100 times floor for a 1 of 1, it'll be interesting to see if that is a sign, if maybe there's some bigger collectors kind of jumping in. I'm just looking at the wallet that picked that up right now as OpenSea kind of dies on me, but they have a big collection, and probably do some digging in to see who maybe that is later.
Yeah, NFT collections are great at playing possum. You look at the floor, you're like, oh, that thing's dead. They're not dead, people. The floor is a terrible metric.
Well,
look closely.
Gas being low has made a lot of these lower price floor things a lot more tangible as a long-term investment, right? Like, if you're buying, like we've said this a ton of times before, but if you're buying something that's like 0.02, 0.03, and you could pick that up for a pretty low fee and not totally fuck your cost basis up just paying gas, some of these low risk but incredibly high upside projects might be something to start stockpiling up as you get some extra liquidity.
So as mints have slowed down a bit, at least, the volume on a weekly basis, I think a lot of Moon Lounge members with gas so low have been doing exactly what you just described. We were all thinking about the projects we loved that were either forgotten or maybe launched during the bear and just were, at an unfortunate market moment for them. And shout out to E-Ticket in the audience right now with his breakfast sandwich there, which I love. We actually all hit Fast Food Friends, Breakfast World, and even a newer collection called Baby Toads, which I don't recommend financially, but we do like the way they look. But I really do think collections that had a moment, like Fast Food Friends, like Breakfast World, which has some great 1 of 1s in it, even one made by Gremplin himself, and that is a collection inspired by Gremplin. I think these are great plays while gas is low. If you can sit on these things for a few weeks or a few months, some of these are going to 20, 50, even 100x from here.
Yeah, or potentially a few years, as CryptoPunks holders would probably say.
Look, if you want the type of gains you read about before you got in here, it's not a 2-week holding period. I know you've seen some ridiculous shit like penthouses go to 100E in a week, and it's not typical. If you want punk type gains, 100, 1000x, you got to hold things you have conviction for. You can't worry that everything you buy is going to have a peak initially and then it's going to fall. And the project could look deader than a doornail for a long time. You just have to be able to sit through that and not care. And people will make fun of you and tell you your collections are stupid and dead every day. Useless.
Do you need a minute?
Yeah.
All right. Well, while you take a minute, I'm just going to talk about Rainbow Grid by Kim Asendorf that dropped last night too. A pure stealth drop. In fact, I don't think the artist was ready for this thing to sell at all. But of course, the degens in the NFT space are all over the new contracts that come out. So just for a little bit of context, Kim Asendorf is a semi-well-known artist, a couple thousand followers, pretty good portfolio, and has some experience in the NFT space. Launched the contract for something called Rainbow Grid, which is like on-chain, their live real-time art that just kind of keeps going. They have their own parameters, so each one kind of looks different. But yeah, dropped a stealth drop of only 54 of these, and they were priced at 0.25, and they haven't even made the announcement yet. A little bit of volume on the secondary, 6.3 ETH traded, and the floor is sitting at 0.1. The floor does not mean anything right now. But yeah, they the trading didn't go crazy, but they were selling for above floor, and got as high as 1.69 last night on a random one-off sale. But I think they look pretty cool. I did end up grabbing one of these. Any time that something is a 54 supply and has the potential to do incredibly well, I think I kind of like that. So, I mean, I know I showed them to you.
Yeah, I've been hesitant to make this call for a few weeks, but I do think Gen art has bottomed in general as far as an overall trend. I do think these pieces last night, I love them. I mean, all Gen art is subjective. I feel like you either hate or love a collection. Even within the same collection, you hate and love the pieces. I loved these. I'm a big fan of the glitch style. I think the only thing that put me off is there's actually collections can be too small, right? While you think in your head the less supply the better, you need a certain amount of them to exist so people can buy them and share them and flex them. And if there's only 50, you really need the right people to buy them, or they're never going to get out there. No one's going to care. I have a collection like that, which was made by an actual art blocks artist. That I think is fabulous, and maybe one day will catch fire, but the fact that there's only 50 pieces, I think, hinders it. I love these, and this was Jolly Dinger Alpha last night, so shout out to Jolly. I know you got one. I think they look fabulous, and I'm hoping these are a nice cook for you.
Yeah, I was. I will admit that I was doing some market research on narcotics, and to catch the criminals, you have to think like one, and so I did take an edible. And
Wait. You just dropped that randomly into this, NFT, and you took an edible.
Well, I thought it was hilarious that I drop an edible, and all of a sudden I'm minting this hippie shit for 0.25 ETH, but
now. This contained THC, right? Like this was this edible. This is incredible news.
Yeah.
Wow. I am both proud and consider this my influence.
I took an evening off of the booze train. Not that I drink excessively all the time, as much as I like to pretend that I do. But
and his first action is to buy the trippiest card I've seen in 2 months.
The irony was not lost on me. Don't worry. I did spend some time staring at it after I purchased it. So
gorgeous. I love them. Drop that link. Yeah.
They are cool. Yeah, I'll share it for anyone. This was kind of, I don't want to say late night alpha. It was kind of late for me, but yeah, people. So I know a couple Moon Loungers jumped into it, and I did have that split second, like those rockets that you guys bought a while ago. Of like, is this just gonna be 50 alpha minters holding 54 supply, and then we watched the floor go to like 20 ETH because no one's listed, and we're all like, yeah, we made it.
Not that that's literally happened before. Exactly. Describe it.
Yeah. Just a little bit more context for this project. Like I said, it was not expected to mint out by the artist. She did put the contract up and hadn't promoted it yet. So a lot of her followers were like, wait, what the hell is this? I think she's making some kind of an announcement today or dropping it and whatnot. So it'd be interesting to see if the secondary kind of picks up some steam or not. So it's a pretty high risk, high reward play in my mind. I mean, 0.25 for a single mint is not nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go stink some wealth offers to these people who got in early.
It's not a bad play, honestly, right there. You might see some people happily relinquish it for 0.4, 0.3.
Yeah. Which one's yours again?
I did list mine for 45 ETH last night. I was very disappointed when I woke up and did not see it.
High or something. 45 ETH.
420 ETH. Yeah, no. No, I don't know. I just threw it up there. I had no intention of selling it, and it was on like a 6-hour timer, so I was just messing around.
We're against like listing something unless you have a plan. But if you are you might as well list the thing at like 1,000 E. Then if you have to reduce the price, at least you give yourself some room.
Yeah.
You're not like, then you have to cancel and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least list how much you're gonna list.
I randomly saw one NFT that was for sale, and the guy had reduced it by it was like 0.18, 0.17, 0.16, 0.15. I'm like, oh my god, like you're gonna. Oh, I'm like, and you know what? Honestly, this is one of those things that like it's probably an instance that they don't realize that they're paying gas on it the entire time, and it's there's still lots of education to be done in this space.
That first time you realize you've committed to selling a piece before you realize you've committed to selling it. You're like, wait a minute. I have to cancel all of these now, and it costs more than the piece itself.
I have been if it's a project that like is minting or like a high activity, I have been adamant now that I'm putting it on like a 12-hour timer, so at least if it just gets delisted, I can re-up later.
Yeah. I like that they automatically put that in now, that it's an automatic, even though it's 6 months out, which is a little aggressive. I like that at the very least they did that for people. You know, people have listed things from very famous artists who weren't famous when they list them and forgot about them. So I actually think this is a great service by OpenSea.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Scott is just saying in the AM show chat that a workaround to listing a whole bunch of things, if it doesn't sell and you want to avoid paying the gas on that, is just to transfer it to another wallet. You will have to pay the gas on the transfer, but definitely more preferable than...
Cheaper.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. And then just resell it from the other wallet or whatever, right? And actually, if you're throwing out a lot of WETH offers, you can do the same thing. Just convert your WETH back into ETH or transfer the WETH to another wallet, and all of those offers will be null and void.
Was that API change true the other day? I didn't bring it up on the show because I couldn't figure out. Can you not spam WETH offers anymore?
Oh, interesting. I did. I saw that pop up, and I forgot to follow up on that. So if somebody wants to let us know, that could be a game changer.
Test that. Yeah. It would suck. It was like the one thing they had given us.
For sure. Anything else you want to talk about before I suggest that people start throwing their hands up and jumping up on the stage with us?
I may have one more thing to talk about. So
sure, hit me.
We talk about B-Gons maybe once on this show before, and one of the main hindrances. Now, I am a big B-Gon proponent. I believe they are genius level art that is the heir apparent to punks, and one day will be recognized that way in both stature and price. But one of the big hindrances to this collection actually gaining that type of notoriety is that punks, who have largely driven the market up until this point, refuse to buy derivatives or even look at them most of the time, which I usually didn't blame them for, and bastards launched at an unfortunate time, and it were all these things that kind of held the collection back. Well, enter funks a few months ago, and yesterday, an alien funk sold for $420,000. All right. Now, these are the punk copies where the only difference is they face the opposite direction. So it's pretty easy to tell a funk from a punk. And they were a joke originally. And as Larva Labs became everybody's favorite whipping boy this year due to licensing reasons, these funks gained in popularity, and many punks themselves started to rebel and trade in their crypto punks for crypto funks, which is run by not Larva Labs. They were removed from OpenSea for copyright issues, and they had to start their own marketplace. So they literally cloned the Larva Labs site, called it Not Larva Labs, and away they go, which feels that feels a lot more punk than punks themselves, and it's very in the vein of decentralization. So I think that's why a lot of people have gravitated towards them. Now, as a bastard fan, this hurts a bit because these were the original anti-punk. I think aesthetically, they tell a different story. They're absolutely stunning visually, and I think they move the entire punk concept forward. Yet it feels like they're ignored. So I'm on Twitter every now and again. I do bring them up. And yesterday, punk number 3448 was lauding funks as saying, I don't get why apes and punks knock these things. They're part of history. I love them too. And I quote tweeted him and said, "Begons, for fuck's sake, begons. How is everybody missing this?" And he goes, wait, Begons, maybe I should take a look at this. And all of a sudden he goes and buys one, and buys one Begon. And then he goes, well, maybe I should look a little deeper. And he finds the NFTX vault. Now, for those of you out there who don't have Begons, who may want to buy one, and goes for a lot of collections, if you're looking at floors, you need to go check out the NFTX vault, where you can usually get nice floors cheaper than you would pay on OpenSea. Not, 10 or 20% on average, but he went and found a bunch of floors he liked there. Then he discovered there are rares in the Begon collection. There are glitchies, and then there are actual GIFs where the punk changes on the GIF. And I think we sold 6 or 7 Begons to this punk. And I will sell these things one fucking Begon at a time if I have to. But I just was very heartened to actually see punk starting to recognize what I think is one of the most important collections in NFT history. And I'm not saying that satirically or just to pump my bags.
No, I'm right there with you. I do love them. I think that they, we've talked about this more than enough, but I think that they have an amazing variety, and they look so good. Some of them look clean, some of them look a little messy, and you could stare at these things for hours and sift through them, and you'll always find one new that just looks so dope. So yeah, cool to see some punks starting to recognize that as well, and that you're shouting from the mountaintops is being heard by somebody.
Well, I mean, again, punks tend to stay away from derivatives, which I don't blame. So it's not. We've seen a few high-profile punks talk about Begons recently, and that floor is paper thin up to 0.7. I mean, they're really only at such a low floor because the volume's gone in that collection, and people look for ETH wherever they can. But if any interest came back, they'd be a 0.7 in a day. It wouldn't even take much to get them there. So.
Yeah, you got it. All right, let's see who's got their hands up. If anybody does, we will bring you up onto the stage. If not, we will just keep talking for a little bit and figure out what else to go on about. For anybody just still in it, I did bring up yesterday the Flower Girls. I'm still holding it. It's not a bag. The project's still doing well, but Keith Grossman of Time magazine, who we talked about pretty in depth the other day, did end up buying a whole bunch, and I believe even tweeted about it. And Cozomo aped in as well. He's got a big collection of those going out. He has not tweeted about it yet. I don't know if he will. But yeah, it seems like there's a pretty long list of supporters shaping up for this project.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so just something as a side note.
I dropped a tweet in the AM show chat that I wanted your comment on, R2. I thought this person was kind of poignant, but I just needed your color on the whole thing.
Oh, shocking. It's a tweet by you. Yeah, no, I saw this morning, and you said ETH maxis are excited for what's about to be built. BTC maxis are excited for what is about to break. Choose the light. Yeah, I guess if you want to frame that.
Show me the lie. Show me the lie.
Yeah, but I mean, you're kind of not telling the whole story, because ETH maxis are excited about what's going to be built on the rubble that it's going to break. So, I think both. Well, you're.
No, all right.
You're talking ETH. They're building DeFi finance, like all these traditional markets that ETH are building that are looking to kind of decentralize and disrupt. I mean, you're going to break a lot of things along the way in regards to that. So I get what you're saying, but I just think that you got to break it before you build it.
Some very important people disagree with you. I put their comments in.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I'm saying, though, right? Like, if you're gonna disrupt the traditional arts, Jesus Christ, no, if you're going to disrupt the traditional finance market and build a DeFi marketplace in its stead, there's gonna be a lot of destruction along the way too, right? Doesn't just go easily.
Yeah, if people don't know, I am not anti-Bitcoin. I like to troll Bitcoin. I'm a bit of when it comes to crypto, I'm an NFT and Ethereum maxi. That's no joke. I don't want Bitcoin to go away. I think it is useful, but I do like to poke fun at the maxis, as they believe that Bitcoin is the only thing that needs to exist. And I know nobody listening right now is a maxi, and this isn't targeted at anybody here. And I do like to bust Cobain's balls, but.
Yeah, pure Bitcoin maxis can be a little bit toxic towards their own cause too, right? Like,
You know who triggered me this morning? Can you guess who triggered me to write
tell
that?
me.
I bet you can guess. Come on, it's one of the most famous maxis there is.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Sailor.
Oh, yeah.
I can't with this fucking. Oh my god! Like, did you see he paid an average of $57,000 for his last tranche of like he's market buying OTC and getting sandwiched on every trade to be paying that price. The fuck is going on?
His cost basis is just fine. Don't you worry about Michael Saylor.
Okay, all right. I'm losing sleep over it, quite frankly.
Yeah, I could tell. I'm worried about you. No, I mean, like,
You're my mother.
I've enjoyed Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. He's an entertaining character, and honestly, I'm enjoying the crypto, the easy crypto exposure in some of my tax-free and retirement accounts in the normal markets. I've definitely gotten some outsized gains there, but yeah, it's he is a character. He's got a lot to say, and he's very focused on getting the message out and nothing else. It was pretty funny. The My First Million guys brought him on the podcast, and they like to kind of just, have some fun with their guests, get to know them on like a more personal level, break down some of those barriers so that they can have a pretty easy talk. And like he just wasn't having any of it. Like they were asking him, "Oh, so you like boats?" He's like, "Yeah, I like boats, but I like Bitcoin better." Like it was just like, yeah. He just there was. It was a pure like I am on here to promote Bitcoin, and anything else is noise, which is kind of the Bitcoin maxi way. Everything else is noise. So yeah. I mean, I'm very pro Bitcoin, but I'm not a Bitcoin maxi by any means. So, Meme God, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great,
What's
man.
up, homie?
GM.
Hey. So I'd like to thank you all for the AM show. It's been really helpful. I've been listening in for a couple of days and it's amazing. So yeah, appreciate it. I've got a simple or stupid question actually. I'm a newbie and the whole NFT trading world, and I'm planning to buy my first NFT soon. And I was wondering, because like I haven't got a straight answer from anyone before. Let's say I want to mint an NFT. How do I recognize the gas fees as being too high or suitable for me to buy in? Like when do I know that no, I'm not gonna buy because the gas fees are, higher than I should be buying in?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion around that if you're minting and how much you want to get into a gas war. It's an incredibly difficult discussion. And gas wars are always a hot debate as to whether or not they're good for NFT projects. Realistically, the best way that you want to kind of wrap your head around this is that you need to have a game plan first and foremost about like, okay, I know a mint costs 0.05. I am willing to pay up to like 0.08 per mint, right? So if you're minting 5 of them and so the cost is going to be 0.25, you would say, I'm willing to pay up to 0.4 of a total transaction to do so. And if it's going to be higher than that, then I'm going to gracefully bow out. I mean, that's the best kind of way that I could describe knowing whether something's too high for you or not. It all just depends on what your liquidity situation is. My one thing that I would say is don't ever face like risk of ruin for a single mint. paying too much gas, or don't push it to the limit. Like, if you have zero point 0.5 of liquidity, like, don't spend that entire 0.5 on a single mint, because you're going to put yourself in a hard spot if the project it doesn't have a good run up.
Yeah, I think there's two things you have to look at too, right? There's the bankroll management side, which R2 explained beautifully right there. Then there's the why would I want to pay high gas in the first place, right? Like what makes something desirable? And that's obviously a much more complex and nuanced discussion, but that's why you're in the Moon Lounge or you're in Alpha as an example, right? Like, why should I decide to get into a gas war? And we were just talking about the phase of the market we're in. Because gas has been regularly under even 80 at this point, there are a lot of projects that were suffering because their floors were so low that if you bought with gas above 100, you were at least doubling your cost, right? So if you see a 0.3 floor, excuse me, a 0.03 floor, and the gas alone is going to make it cost 0.06, you're obviously a lot more hesitant to make that buy. So it's an important calculation to always say, well, I'm not just paying whatever the price of this is, I'm factoring in gas. Now, why would I want to pay high gas for something? There's a million reasons. Is it a high drop? Do I believe this collection is going to be mentioned by an influencer? Do I know something other people don't know? Do I have conviction for another reason? So you have bankroll management, and then it's like, well, what do I want to fire high gas? I'm liquid, but what is worth firing high gas at? Well, it's a good thing you're here. We'll help guide you through that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. One more question, if I can. Why are people still minting on the Ethereum blockchain when they can do it on the Polygon, which is, free of gas fees, I guess?
Security is the main reason you mint on L1. You're going to see corporations, and I talked about how bullish I am on mainstream companies getting into NFTs next year, and you're going to see most of them use an L2 like Polygon, maybe even Arbitrum. But the main reason smaller collections don't do it is because it's worth paying for the security of L1 because it legitimizes you. When I see a small project or somebody I don't know launch on Polygon, I'm instantly suspicious. When I see Coca-Cola launch on Polygon, I say it's worth a stab.
Makes sense. All right. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up. Yeah, and I mean, the other thing that I want to add on that is, like, high gas fees mean that the network is being used. The network being used means that it's in demand, and something that's in demand always has more value than something that is not in demand. And it's kind of a false equivalency for some of these projects to be comparing their gas prices to Ethereum's gas prices, especially the L1 projects, because the simple fact of the matter is that if they had the usage that Ethereum was having, you'd see a lot of their gas prices or whatever they call them on those chains increase as well, like the usage fees. Maybe not as much as Ethereum, and obviously Ethereum has some scaling solutions on the horizon, but it's not always like the greatest comparison that these projects use to be like, oh, why mint on Ethereum when you can come over to Solana and pay, a 1/100th of it? Well, it's because, Solana is being used probably about 100th of as much as Ethereum. And if you kind of draw a parallel to like a social media network, like, do you want to be on the social media network that everyone is on, like a Twitter, or do you want to be on a social media website that only 1,000 people are on, like DeSo? So
in a deregulated market, your only regulatory body is price. So always be suspicious when a chain is selling themselves on price, because that is your only security. It is the only thing that makes a scammer question whether he should do something on L1. Is it going to be more expensive to run this jukes than to actually profit from it, right?
Yeah, and also just remember that, like, the price of Ethereum has over 10x'd in the last year, right? Like, you would pay the same amount in gas last year but that $40 fee might have been $3, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is part of the cost of the underlying asset just in increasing in dramatically in value, right? And sometimes it's hard to stomach. They do need to come up with some kind of solution for it. I don't think that just, having to pay, upwards of $100 just to purchase something on OpenSea is overly productive. But when you're talking about gas prices and minting and stuff like that, there is that element of value there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of why we're L1 purists, but L2 is next year is gonna be the year of L2s. It's just understanding what works there and what to avoid as, as a trader and an investor.
Yeah, and sorry, we just invited Yos up here, but I had one other thought in there. Like, think about it like a sports analogy, right? Like, for the hot in demand things, hot in demand games and stuff like that, not only will the seats sell out in the stadium, but the prices on the secondary market start to go a lot higher too, right? So that in demand kind of function of like, you want to go see the Lakers play the Nets, or you want to go see the Patriots play the Cowboys or whatever, right? Like, those demand higher prices, and the amount that people are willing to pay for them because of that goes up too. I know that's supply and demand, but like, I would just, it's kind of like that mint versus secondary price. So, what are you willing to pay for the mint? And do you think that the hype will sustain it so that the secondary is well worth it?
Well said.
Yos, sorry about that, man. What's going on?
No, just along the same lines of what you guys are saying. I was going to say that I suspect that we'll see generative art blocks, higher end stuff all remain on L1. But what we've seen with whether it's Wizards and Dragons, the Wolf game, you look at something like Evo Snells, where gas just killed that in terms of how you had to re-roll over and over again. We'll probably see most of those things slowly move to L2. One example a lot of people probably weren't aware of was like crypto unicorns that came out on Matic. 0.06 mint, I think it was. I minted a bunch of those. Floor went to 0.44. It never went on Icy Tools because they don't monitor that. But it was a 10,000 collection, and it's still just humming along.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying that's one example. And then obviously the one that I know a lot of people are pretty bullish on is what's happening with the whole treasure ecosystem on a L2.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, there is a very active thread in the project's chat for small brains and now swole bodies, which is coming up next. Small brains has been just, bottom left to upper right. What a cook. Now you get a little vehicle for each of your monkeys, I believe, a free mint. Those are worth, I think, 2,000 magic each. The small brains are close to it, which is like 1E or 1.5E or something like that. So my bet for L2 gaming is going to be Arbitrum. I have a problem with Polygon for just a number of reasons, but I hope Arbitrum is the one that at least the gaming projects I like focus on. Unfortunately, it's not ready. So I don't blame someone like EtherOrcs going to Polygon unless you were going to get on that treasure marketplace and ecosystem. I think it would have been too difficult to bridge to Arbitrum currently. But by next year, it's going to be a very smooth bridging process. It's a bitch right now.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if like a lot of projects default to like I guess bridging is a pain in and of itself to begin with, but like starting on Ethereum and then if the project is successful, then moving it over, just because the ETH mints always have the panache, right? Like it has the allure. So, anything else you wanted to talk about, Yos, or just wanted to
sorry,
add
I
on to
just forgot to keep the stage.
No, all good, my friend, all good. We're gonna bring up Cass.
No, I just.
Oh, I did not kick him off.
The cane, you broke out the cane.
I did not.
Oh,
Cass, how are you doing this morning?
That is a sharp ass profile picture.
Never
My
seen that before. What's that? What's that about? You are muted, by the way.
Good morning,
GM.
GM.
Yeah. Good morning.
How are you guys? Well, I'm in the middle of cooking a stir fry. That's why I've been quiet.
Nice.
This time.
Send some my way. I'm starving.
First cook of the
So
day.
whenever you're ready.
people.
No, I was loving the conversation of I'm loving the conversation of L2, L1, Solana, Ethereum. My personal opinion on it, Ethereum will be OG because I think there was a lot of hype when Solana really popped out a couple of months ago, and then everyone in the field was like, "Oh, we need to go on Solana because of gas fees." I've got this feeling that the whole gas fee thing, yeah, I can understand that it's a pain in the backside, but I think I think just that element of gas will separate tiers. So people who can afford it, people who can't afford it, where it seems like some sort of a financial structure, like an eco structure of some sort, or like the masses will probably end up trying to go Solana because it's quick, it's cheaper, and there's no gas fees. Where my argument is, if you've got one Donny who's got, I don't know, $10 million and another Donny who wants that $10 million, they're going to use the Ethereum blockchain just because it's quick, easy, and no hassle and headache. And I think that's the danger of what's going to happen over the next couple of years is that L2 might come out, which will be great. L2 will come out, which will be great in terms of gas fees and stuff. But I just honestly believe the real OG, the real kind of heavily valued NFTs, which are on Ethereum, I think that's just going to stay a trend. But then saying that, I could be completely wrong.
No, I completely agree with you on that. I don't ever see, I wasn't even thinking of those necessarily in my comment, but I don't ever see high-priced NFTs leaving L1. I mean, honestly, we know high gas prices also help the price of the art if it's desirable, and I think that high fees are a good thing, as bad as that sounds. So L2, look, mass adoption is going to look like L2. I don't care, I as much as we may stay on L1 and there will be many projects that still launch there, I do think mass adoption is going to look like L2. But I think that even if next year is the year of L2, the year of the masses getting on L2 is probably 2023. So there's still just too much friction there. That's what I think is going to go away by the end of next year. It's just going to take a little bit to work it off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this conversation is there's so many different sides to it, right? And like nobody likes paying fees. And at the end of the day, I would like to see a reasonable solution come out for Ethereum. And obviously, as we've joke about or say on a day-to-day basis, like those solutions always seem to be about 6 months away and have been for the last 4 years. But sometimes it just like feels like with the amount of money that's flowing through this ecosystem and the value of ETH and all of that stuff, it feels like good problems to have sometimes.
Yes, sir. Anything else, Sir Cass, you would like to bring to our attention today? If not, we're going to bring up Icon after. Oh, I said it right. Did you hear that?
If you're talking, I don't know, you're muting and unmuting. Hold on one sec, Icon. Oh, I don't know, it just jumped off.
There we
You
go.
kicked another person off stage.
I haven't kicked anybody off. Cass, I swear to God, I didn't kick you off. I don't know.
I'm getting ready to kick off. It's okay. It's okay.
You're next, Icon.
How y'all doing?
I'll fucking do it.
How y'all doing? Doing fine?
I'm great, man. How are you doing?
We're wonderful.
Right, doing fine as well. It's actually funny that you were to bring up the L2 because I'm just chatting with Poof and Wrangler right now.
Ooh.
So the Etherwork guys, to say it like that. There's a common misconception in terms of L2, right? Especially when it comes to the different chains, especially when it comes to the different mechanics behind it, etc. Just to say it like this, if you look at what the Etherworks are currently doing, and I know that I'm sounding like a maxi right now, but whatever. If you look at what they're doing, it's quite brilliant. And this is something that most other NFT series, be they PFP or not, could actually incorporate. It's actually utilizing the L2 as your computer. So, in other words, any type of actions that you do multiple times, that you utilize that there where the gas is very low. And then afterwards, after your computations have been done, you bring those results of those computations. So basically stating 1 + 1 = 2, that you bring your result, back to L1, where the perceived value is higher due to everyone mostly utilizing OpenSea. And OpenSea mostly having Ethereum NFTs, but also due to the large amount of interest there. Let's say.
So for my small brain to try to sum it up, does this mean that it's able to take a bunch of transactions and actions that you do on L2 and make it just basically one call to action on L1 so you don't have to pay for each transaction, or is that a crude misinterpretation?
It's a very straightforward manner of stating it, but
Okay.
in general, yeah. So basically, if you do 5, let's say like this, if you do 5 or 10 or 20 different transactions on, be it Arbitrum, Polygon, or whatever, those will always be cheaper than doing those on the L1 Ethereum.
Yes.
And afterwards, after doing those actions, and of course having Polygon state that those actions have happened, you'll get a result which you can take back, bridging, you can take back to Ethereum. The most common misconception is that once an NFT has been bridged over to the L2, it remains there. And here's the thing, you can do it two-way. Period.
Oh, sorry, you cut out there a little bit. After you said you could do it two
That
ways.
sounded quite dramatic there.
Oh, okay.
No. That is, honestly, I have tried to understand this. Icon is probably the most technically proficient person in AM, and I always love learning this stuff from you. Thank you for explaining that. It makes a lot of sense, and I'm already an orc maxi, so I am right there with you. These guys are just nailing execution on every level.
I most definitely agree. That's all I have to add for this, so I won't take up too much of your time here.
Kick him off the stage, R2.
Here we go.
Thank you, Icon.
I'm actually doing it this time. Boom. God. This is kind of fun. Someone else want to come up here so I can kick you off too? No, you know what? Honestly, I think we're probably about to wrap the show up for this morning. I just want to give a quick state of the market for AlphaMint pass holders. We are over half sold. Wave 3 of the AlphaMint pass, so that's incredibly bullish. There's been a lot of new great additions. So thank you so much for joining in and being a part of our wonderful growing community here. For anybody that's listening that's thinking about the AM Pass, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself, any of the mods, any of the team. We'd be more than happy to give you a quick rundown, even if it's just a little bit of a personalized session. And for anyone listening that is a new pass holder, we're going to be doing a little bit of a voice chat session for just us at about 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So hop on in, pour yourself a beer or a cocktail or a glass of water, whatever you drink, come, hang out with us for a little bit. We'll have a good talk and just have some fun and get to know everybody. So yeah, thank you so much for all of the new people joining AlphaMint. Thank you so much for all of the existing members, whether you're a pass holder or not. This community has been absolutely killing it in this last month, but honestly, it has been since I've been here for 3 or 4 months. I don't even know how long it's been now, but very exciting stuff, and lots more to come on the horizon. Do you want to give a little plug to our interview that we're hosting live today?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
later today. Yes, later today we will be hosting Ghost for an interview at 2 p.m. Eastern here in the AlphaMint. Are we doing it in the voice chat or maybe back up in the stage?
Yeah, we'll do it on the stage again, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to do it up in the stage. Ghost is really, really close to launching the next phase of his Pantone collection. So we're kind of going to talk about the genesis of where that came from, how he sees it going forward, and some really interesting action with Vincent Van Dough picking up a few of those himself, not to mention Keith Grossman of Time Magazine. So some really hot stuff going on with Ghost. Don't miss that interview at 2 p.m. Eastern here in the Moon Lounge.
Yeah, we will have that here for you. That's really exciting. Ghost is a great guy. He's been a great part of our community as well, and I'm really looking forward to talking to him. So that's very exciting stuff.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to finish us off with?
Until next time, may your cards be live and your pots be monsters.
Have a great day, guys, and we will do it all again tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern. We're out.